Hi, Alien here. Um, Today I'm going to talk about something political. Was not my plan to do such things, but this came up, so I had thoughts, so I'm going to discuss it. All right, what it comes down to, I was at the laundromat last week, washing some blankets and pillows, and there was a woman there who was just looking. And she started off with, oh, there was this autistic boy, and 9 cops pinned him down and he died. And no news media covered it. Well, my first thought is, well, then how come you know about it? I went over, I said, well, I was standing near her, and I said, I heard that too. It was in all the papers, kind of to counteract her, because I know where this was going. It wasn't going to be about autism. A noble thing to like defend. But yes, so immediately she went on to Black Lives Matter. I knew that's where this was going to go. So she says, well, and she rants and raves for a little bit, and she says, well, more white men are killed when they're incarcerated than black men. And I said, okay, I guess so. But you have to consider, and I'm going to use some hyperbole here. I did not use this example with her because I knew it would be. But you know what? In the last 4 years, I've heard a lot of hyperbole and a lot of lies. So I figure it's okay for me to use some hyperbole. If you have $1 and you spend 5 cents, you have 95 cents left over. Now, over on this hand, you have a nickel and you spend 4 cents. You have 1 penny left over. Okay, 5 cents is more than 4 cents, granted, but 95 cents left over is a whole lot bigger than 1 cent. That's just a comparison to, and not an accurate comparison of percentages, but to give you the idea of what I'm trying to say. Well, I brought up, well, what about, yes, this is true that there are more whites killed when they're incarcerated than blacks by police. But let's also consider how many are injured and add that. Well, now our numbers are starting to balance out about the same amount. Yes, still less for African Americans than for Caucasians, or whatever you want to call them. I find that my skin's a little pinkish beige, so there you go. Anyway, then, still, blah, 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 quite uppity about it. And so then I said, but then let's look at the whole issue that actually is behind Black Lives Matter. How many before being incarcerated are killed? Oh, a whole lot more blacks than whites. Statistics support that. Oh, and then let's go with people who are totally innocent and just get accused while they're in their own apartment or in their grandmother's backyard or walking down the street and they're in front of the house next door to their own. That number is so much bigger. Well, this frustrated her because, I had a point. But, statistics mean nothing. Percentages mean nothing. Considering that the more black population is in prisons than white populations, and as a percentage, way higher. I don't think, based on the number of black people I know and the number of white people I know. More of the white people I know are willing to commit crimes. So I don't think that it is African Americans who are inherently bad, because they're not. I think it's those who think they can get away with it will try. And those who don't will still get arrested. Okay? If you can't grasp that Black Lives Matter is a real thing, and you have to say things like, well, blue lives matter and all lives matter, it's like you don't get it. You're not looking at it properly. You're not seeing what this is about. This is about a race of people being targeted specifically. Okay? I remember once years ago, I was in a little fender bender, and there was no bent fenders. The guy rear-ended me. Now, he was not following me close. I figured, oh, he topped me because the brakes didn't quite catch. I ran back to him and said, are you okay? This was Thanksgiving Eve. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm really sorry. The brakes are... And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, then didn't cops pull out of nowhere, make the guy get out of the car, frisked him, searched the car, and it's like, why are they doing this? I said, oh, I think he's perfectly fine. I was ready to be done with it before they showed up. And they come out, well, he's not drunk or anything. And it's like, well, I didn't think he was. But, hey, I had been drinking. I'm the one they should have been because, I'm the one that was drinking and driving. Okay, this was the 1980s, but still. Back then, that was an acceptable thing to do, still. But anyway, my point being, this black gentleman who did not deserve that kind of treatment received that treatment. He had done nothing wrong. I had forgiven him. The cops asked me, do you want to press charges? And I said, for what? First of all, he didn't do anything wrong. My car, the dent that's in the back of my car was caused by me backing into something months earlier. And tomorrow's Thanksgiving. This shouldn't even be happening. Because we should be all happy because it's Thanksgiving. Well, Anyway, I sidetrack. My point is, before you start ranting against Black Lives Matter, think about it. If your skin tone was different, which it easily could be by just switching a gene or two, not even a gene, just some little minute A to a G, you could be black. And then you have to deal with a nation that out of their own fear, despise you. Tears for Fears said, people are people. And, it's things like this that make me ashamed to be an American. I am first and foremost a human, a member of planet Earth. And I think all humans deserve to be treated the same. And they deserve to be treated nicely. And to be up in arms because you aren't the group that is being targeted, well, you know what? It's not going to hurt your life if they get justice. It's not going to hurt your life at all. My goodness. Are you really that afraid? I mean, there's so many better things to be afraid of. You know what? I fear fear itself. And I fear bullies. I grew up with a few. And you know what? They were as white as me. Oh well, evil doesn't have a color. All right? Get off your high horse and say that all lives matter. Yes, every life counts. But for the discussion of Black Lives Matter, whites aren't being targeted by the police. Be done with it. Thanks. I'm Alien.